I really like this version, but oh, the changes I would make to bring it up to the I love this version level. Welcome to my channel, KC, that's me, Carrie Chuck the Sledge Storyteller. Now, Scrooge, it was released in 1935 and is widely regarded as the first movie-talkie adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, after, by all accounts, 7 film adaptations in silent form. Now, among them, the 1913 adaptation Old Scrooge, where the title role is played by Seymour Hicks, and it turns out that he plays Scrooge in this very 1935 adaptation. And let's go into depth on him. Now, in the pantheon of Scrooge actors, you've got the indifferent Scrooge with charisma and some sense of humor. You've got stone cold Scrooge, who gives you an icy look every time he talks. And then there's Seymour Hicks, and I put him in a category of his own as snake in the grass Scrooge.
I wish to be left alone, sir. Since you ask me what is my wish, that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas. I can't afford to make a lot of idle people merry.
We get a very different take here with Scrooge's reaction to Bob Cratchit getting more coal from the office scuttle to burn, when Scrooge gives Bob a logical yet heartless reprimand.
It's very evident to me, you know, Mr. Cratchit, that you and I left apart. Oh, I see no help for it, sir. You don't pay for the coal, so you can afford to be reckless. Get on with your work, sir. That'll keep you warm enough. I'm not cold. Why should you be? And I'm your senior by a great many years, I fancy.
He's much the same to his nephew Fred over Christmas and the invitation to his Christmas dinner party. But yeah, Hicks nails it as the nasty Ebenezer Scrooge, and then looking completely disheveled with hair so unkempt that he has to know that those who come to him to borrow money must be desperate, because he was all that was left after being turned down by every other lender. But beyond being convincing as a mean-spirited miser, a Scrooge actor also has to be convincing in that little by little loss of resolution to be mean, as he takes that journey in witnessing his past, present, and future. Seymour Hicks manages to pull that off very well. Now, Donald Calthrop totally looks like a go-to for Bob Cratchit with his frail-looking frame and naturally timid-looking persona, and he also carries that throughout the movie. He knows he's walking on eggshells as he desperately tries to sink that coal. As well, he wonderfully plays the loving father, ever wary of what will become of Tiny Tim. Barbara Everest as Mrs. Cratchit, the movie doesn't give her much of anything beyond the basics. She's attentive to what Bob tells her about his church experience with Tim, and plays angry over the proposed toast to Mr. Scrooge just fine. That's it. Philip Frost as Tiny Tim, he played the cute little boy with a cripple just fine, just not the best performance I've seen as a sickly Tim, but on par for the course. And here's the segment I wish so badly I could change.
Look well, Ebenezer Scrooge, for only you can see me. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death.
For all the budget the movie had to show a big banquet for the London upper crust hosted by Lord Mayor, in this scene, like right in between their departure from the counting house before Scrooge makes it back home. And there is a good segment where we see the chefs that, they give leftover food to the poor as best they can. Just somehow in this segment we can't have Jacob Marley on screen. And who knows, this was during the worldwide depression. A budget shortfall might have come in the middle of production. I just always hunger for the whole Jacob Marley experience, the best of which show the burden carried with those chains and the anguish that can be seen in his eyes. But anyway, not yet a well-known superstar in Hollywood, and uncredited here, Claude Rains provides the voice of Jacob Marley. The scene still works in showing Scrooge's first display of vulnerability. We do get a glimpse of Jacob Marley at the door knocker, And if we're only going to get a voiceover, Claude Rains is about as good as it gets. Perhaps another product of a limited budget, we get a decent bright figure of light as the Ghost of Christmas Past, effectively voiced by Marie Ney. And yet one other apparent compromise due to its budget is that the Christmas Past segment is minus Scrooge's time as the little boy in the boarding school, his apprenticeship under Fezziwig, and we go straight to an albeit well-played scene of Belle's breaking her engagement with Scrooge after she witnesses his heartless foreclosing on a young couple's home. But then we do get a scene of Belle's established family, a huge one, where some kids look like they could be the same age, and the man she does marry telling her of his seeing Scrooge alone in his office. It gets the point across well, and Hicks's Scrooge responds with just the right emotions in all these. So here we have one scene of an actual person on screen as a spirit, as is most appropriate in this case, with the Ghost of Christmas Present played by Oscar Ashe, and I really like his performance. He starts as the laid-back, heavyset guy, helping himself to the food that was traditionally surrounding him when he first appears in this story. The movie goes straight to the scene where the spirit has brought Scrooge to the Cratchit home on Christmas Day. While Tiny Tim's sickly status isn't that convincing, Scrooge's emotional reaction to the big wake-up call from his employee struggles and Tim's inevitable passing at such a young age is very genuine. From there, at a point where Dickens' novella has the spirit taking Scrooge over vast distances to observe different people celebrating Christmas, we get a well-run flight over a well-built miniature London. Then we get sampled the celebrations in the far reaches of the lands. We do get a fully fleshed out scene of Fred's Christmas dinner party, and I like his insights on what he has to say about Scrooge, how he feels about him, how he wish he would make good use of his wealth among those around him, the poor. And we are minus the often omitted scene where we get to see ignorance and want shown by the Ghost of Christmas Present. Scrooge is back in bed, where we see the shadow of a being that terrifies Scrooge. And while this may be another method forced by a limited budget, I think this works splendidly. And while I gripe on several of the same common issues in Disney's 2009 mocap adaptation of A Christmas Carol, for its uncanny valley and over-embellishment of several scenes, it's effectively used in that same kind of shadow imagery for the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. You can't help but wonder if this movie inspired director Robert Zemeckis to do that. Showing Scrooge's head in his own shadow is a bit jarring. You just have to tell yourself not to overthink it. The movie runs this segment with the scenes most commonly used in movie adaptations. Scrooge is shown his fellow businessmen at the London Exchange speaking of the recent passing of an unnamed one of their own, who will of course turn out to be Scrooge. We move on to the scene where the same unnamed man's possessions are brought to the black market broker, Old Joe. And I will say, this scene of A Christmas Carol seems to be the easiest scene to get right, because they seem to always get it right and perfect, and get the perfect actress for its parts, especially Old Joe, always dressed in perfect costuming with that top hat coming apart at the seams, rags all over him, and those ghetto entrepreneur vibes. The characters with the merch always have similar accents and know just how to convey that greed. But yes, this scene was well played like every other depiction of it, and it serves its purpose of making Scrooge even more wary that these are indicators of his own passing in the future. Add to that a well-rendered scene of the spirit showing a lifeless body on the bed covered with a sheet, and Scrooge notices the room is completely empty save for the bed, leading him to pick up on how neglected this whoever he is must have been. Then he is brought to witness the somber scene of the Cratchit family mourning the loss of Tiny Tim. The kind of dialogue you expect taken from the novella, and well acted, especially by Robert Calthorpe as Bob. Then the anticipated final scene of this segment where Scrooge sees his name on the tombstone, and we immediately see the shadows of Scrooge literally hanging from the spirit's forearm. And this movie goes one further than the novella's dialogue, where Scrooge begs for a way to sponge away the writing. in that he literally wipes the writing with his hand, which transitions to a well-rendered match cut. Since this is the first movie-talkie Scrooge, Seymour Hicks has to render the first on-screen moment of Christmas morning jubilation, and his performance here is a perfect reference of what will work. Although I do know that Seymour Hicks had plenty of stage experience playing Scrooge, so no doubt that helped him here. He's convincingly happy, exuberant, and most importantly, compassionate. To the courier boy he hires to get the prize turkey.
Hey, do you know the poulterer at the corner of the street next but one?
I don't know if I did.
An intelligent boy, a remarkable boy. Do you know if they've sold the prize turkey that they had hanging there?
It'll be hanging there now.
Well, you go and buy it.
Walker!
No, I'm in earnest. You go and buy it and bring it back here, and I'll tell you where to take it. And you come back with a man, and I'll give you a shilling. You come back in less than 5 minutes, and I'll give you ½ a crown.
Hooray!
To the charity collectors rejected earlier.
Merry Christmas to you. I hope you succeeded yesterday. Mr. Scrooge. Yes, that's my name. I'm afraid it's not a very pleasant one for you, but will you allow me to ask your pardon? And would you be good enough to put me down?
Lord bless my soul, my dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious? A round 100?
Yes, and not a farthing less, not a farthing
dear
less.
sir.
I'm afraid there are many back payments included in it.
My dear Mr.
Yes,
Scrooge.
you come round and see me. You will come round. You
We will.
To Fred at his Christmas party.
Fred,
Bless my soul, who's this?
It is I, your Uncle Scrooge. I've come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred?
Why, it's Uncle Scrooge. It can't be. Will I? A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle. Come in. Come in and join us.
And finally to Bob, after first starting out with his typical cold shoulder.
I'm not going to stand it any longer. And therefore, I'm going to raise your salary.
Sir, you must be joking.
Never more serious in all my life, Bob. I'm going to raise your salary, and as for Tiny Tim, I'll be a second father to you. God bless you. No more work today, Bob. No work today. Make haste to your battery, Bob. They'll be wanting it today, Bob. They'll be wanting it today. A Merry Christmas, Bob.
For all those missing aspects that I've mentioned and key scenes, we get a fantastic Scrooge performance, well-played Christmas ghosts, and more than adequate Cratchits. I love the Christmas Carol story enough that I typically watch over 10 adaptations during the Christmas season, and that's why my Christmas season usually begins roughly in mid-November. Don't judge me. But yes, I will always make sure this adaptation is among them. That's my take on the 1935 Scrooge movie. Agree, disagree, something I left out, please let me know in the comment section. The link to the Order of the Sledge comic miniseries is in the link below, both digital and paper format. Give it a look. I'll always say it, let's all look for civility amid all the bad news out there about social and political strife. Let's not hate. Let's find friends wherever we may go and see anybody as a potential friend who we may encounter. And we shouldn't need the Christmas season to be kinder, but in this time, let's think about this as an opportunity to be more kind. Everyone be safe.
God bless us, everyone.